Maybe you've heard about this, maybe you haven't, but recently China has passed a new law that bans anyone under the age of 18 from playing video games Monday to Thursday. And the only time they're actually able to play video games is from Friday to Sunday. Not only that, but they're limited to 3 hours per week. And the way they track these young people by playing is every citizen in China has an ID number. And you take your ID number and you link it to your video game account that is linked to all these types of video games in China. And this is how the Chinese government can track and limit young people with playing video games. But the bigger question is this: why did the Chinese government create this new video game law? Let's talk about it. Statistically speaking, if you look at young people, they're not enrolling into work as much as people did back in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. Now, is video game addiction a problem? Well, yeah, there's lots of people in the world that are hooked on playing video games all the time. But that's not the reason why young people aren't working. If you analyze humans, we like to do things, we enjoy patterns, and most of the time we do want to find work. Being bored is not something we enjoy. This is why people watch movies or play video games or just sit on their phones all day, because they don't want to be bored. So we as humans do want to find work. I mean, that's something that we do enjoy doing. However, if society is unfair and treats certain people differently than others, then obviously people aren't going to want to be a part of that system. And this is what's happening with young people. They're waking up, they're seeing so many problems within society, and they don't want to be a part of it. Like, let's look at the proposal. You should go work 9 to 5 from Monday to Friday. And in China, sometimes you're working 6 days a week. You go home and you have to pay your rent, utilities, and the groceries that you buy monthly, and this is already taking out a big chunk of what you've already made. And you have very little money to spend and very little free time at the end of the week. This culture of working hard and getting paid very little, but you put your time in and you make it through, is taught everywhere. I was told as I grew up in America, okay, you're gonna go to school, you're gonna get an education, then you're gonna graduate, then you're gonna enroll in university, you're gonna study a topic, then you're gonna get your bachelor's degree, then you're gonna apply for various amounts of jobs, you're gonna find a job, you're gonna work your way up the ladder, you're gonna keep making more money, you're gonna save that money, then you can retire, you can relax, then you can die. And a lot of young people have opened up their eyes and they don't want to do that. They don't want to wake up and work a 9 to 5 job that doesn't pay them the way they should be paid. And in China, some weeks you're working 6 days a week from 9 to 9. That's crazy. That's absolutely ridiculous. People have to work these hours because they need to afford their rent. They need to pay their utilities. They need to be able to buy food. Most of the revenue that gets made within these companies, it gets put into the higher executives' pockets. Meaning you working at this company are scraping up the little breadcrumbs that get thrown off the table. And that's what you get to use to pay for all your bills. The second thing that's a problem is healthcare. Healthcare in many countries is a business and it's not actually there to benefit its people. And a country that shows this off very well is America. In America, if someone is really sick, most of the time they won't actually take an ambulance to go to the hospital. Instead, they'll order a Lyft or an Uber to go to the hospital because it's cheaper. And once you're in a hospital or a doctor's office and you get the care that you need, most of the time your health insurance won't pay for everything. You'll have to pay some chunk of it at the end of the day. So you see a lot of people who are sick in America, they don't go to the doctors. They don't seek the medical attention that they need because they don't have the money to pay off the medical bills that come later on. If you think about people with mental health issues, they're not going to be able to seek out treatment because they can't afford it. Their health insurance won't provide that service for them. And let's connect all the puzzle pieces together, right? If you look at all the food that is really cheap in America, it's fast food and it's littered everywhere. And if you just so happen to eat a lot of this fast food, it'll break down your immune system and you'll get sick. And once you're sick, you have to go to the doctors, you have to get treatment, you get a medical bill, and the cycle repeats and repeats and repeats, and they make so much money. So why are lawmakers not changing the healthcare system? The reason? Pharmaceutical companies pay politicians in order for the laws to stay intact. And the very last element as to why young people aren't working is because they've woken up. People realize that it's your life right now and you shouldn't be working and saving up so that way when you're 60 years old, you can relax and have fun. Like at the end of the day, we don't know if we're gonna die tomorrow. People are really aware of this kind of situation and they want to enjoy their lives now. And if that means not working a job where you're not respected and you're not treated fairly and you're not paid a fair wage, then then people are not gonna work. And if you're an old whippersnapper in office who doesn't understand these kinds of situations because you're not young anymore and you're making too much money to not see these problems, then of course these politicians are gonna blame things like video games. And that does not degrade video game addiction. Like, video game addiction does exist in 2021, and it's something that we should take more seriously, but it's not to blame entirely as for why young people aren't working. To be honest with you, young people are gonna find a way to play video games. If everyone in China has their own ID number, what's stopping little Jimmy from using his dad's ID number to play video games? Or maybe just linking his video game account with his grandpa or grandma's ID number, and boom, he can play video games all he wants because that ID number is over the age of 18. So there are many problems within society. How often you have to work, the unequal pay, health insurance that doesn't care about people. But no, that's not the problem. Young people aren't working because of video games. So make sure you let me know which video game you're addicted to in the comments section below. And as always, stay hydrated, gamers.